Hey y'all, Melissa here with you today and welcome to 2020. This month we're going to be trying something a little new on this channel to go with the new year. Instead of specific sewing projects or techniques, this month I'm going to take you through some wardrobe planning because there is nothing worse than spending a lot of time and effort sewing something and then letting it just hang in your closet and never wear it. So I want to talk to you this month and take you through a process of how to hopefully make sure that that doesn't happen. The first thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to be referring back to this several times this month, is this book, The Curated Closet. So I have the Kindle edition of this book, and I will add a link below to where you can still get it. I first read this about 3 years ago, and it was just a really logical, practical system for me to go through and figure out what things do I actually wear and what kinds of things could I do to increase the chances that something I sew will actually be worn and worn often. So the first thing this book has you do is take pictures of 2 weeks worth of your outfits to see what are you already wearing. And then it uses those as a jumping off point for the rest of the book. So I went ahead and in the studio, because I have the camera set up here, I took pictures of 2 weeks worth of outfits that I wore. So there was me wearing a lot of handmade things on a daily basis over 2 weeks. Now, obviously that was not my whole wardrobe at all. In fact, here is what my closet looks like. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a mismatch between the things I was actually wearing and what my closet looks like. In fact, in my closet, of course, I have a whole lot of dresses, which I do tend to wear more dresses in the summer than in the winter, but still, proportionally, there are a lot more dresses that I don't wear, and then I'm using a smaller part of my wardrobe. So, how do we bring those things more in balance? Well, to start with, you take a look at those 2 weeks worth of photos that you took of yourself, and there are some great questions in the book. And it takes you through, why are you wearing those things? How do you feel wearing those things? What is your dissatisfaction with your wardrobe? And it really helps you narrow down why, if you're dissatisfied with your wardrobe or if you have a lot of things that you're not wearing, why is that happening? So a few things that I noticed just from doing those 2 weeks worth of pictures of me. And I should add a disclaimer here. I did all of this 3 years ago. And when I first read the book, and then I'm just kind of doing a refresh now. So one of the things I noticed is that I wear a lot of gym clothes, and I actually didn't even put all the gym clothes I wore in those 2 weeks worth of pictures because a lot of times I'll wear clothes to the gym and then I'll change out of it to do something else. So the ones that you saw where I'm wearing gym clothes is because I wore my gym clothes all day long, which is not really a thing that I used to do 3 years ago because I wasn't regularly going to the gym 3 years ago. I've always been a regular runner, but it was only about 2 years ago that I started also regularly adding weightlifting to my weekly exercise routines. So that's something that has changed in my life, and that's something that I'm going to need to change in my wardrobe to match up with that. Another thing I noticed is that given the choice, a lot of times I tend to reach for a graphic t-shirt versus a plain or solid one. And my wardrobe was actually more made up of solid t-shirts because those are all the things hanging in my closet. In fact, what I didn't show you is that I also have a drawer full of t-shirts in my dresser, and those are where all my graphic t-shirts are. So you saw me wearing those, but most of those t-shirts weren't in my closet. Another thing that I noticed was that I need more jeans because the pair that I'm wearing now, I don't know if you can see much of them, this particular pair made a couple of appearances just in those 2 weeks worth of photos. There is one other pair that you saw me like bundled up with a sweatpant, and they're kind of a boot cut pair. That is my other most worn pair, but I also tend to only wear that pair if I'm going to be wearing boots, like I was in that picture. So when I'm not wearing boots, when I want other footwear, when I'm looking at sneakers or flats, like this is the only pair of jeans that I feel like I have that goes well with that. So that was something that I needed to remedy. After you've gone through and you've answered all these questions about what you're actually wearing, and you start to think about the changes that you're going to want to make to your wardrobe, then the book takes you through a process of finding inspiration for what you want your wardrobe to look like and helping you really discover your personal style. So I want to show you the personal style inspiration board that I came up with. When I worked through this book 3 years ago, my inspiration board was a lot more feminine. There was a lot more embroidery, a lot more ruffles, there was lace, and all of those things are great. But what I've discovered, especially over the last year, is that there's been some lifestyle changes with our move and with how I spend my days. And what I really need and what I'm wearing more of are just comfortable basics with a feminine twist. A lot more athleisure has entered my wardrobe since then, and that's really kind of where my wardrobe holes are and where the things were that I was dissatisfied with when I looked through my 2 weeks of pictures of things that I was wearing. So that's where I want to focus with some of the things that I'm going to be making or that I have already made for this project. All right, that was a lot, but the recap is I'm using the Curated Closet, this Kindle book that I bought. I'm working through it again after having worked through it the first time 3 years ago, and I'm updating my wardrobe to reflect lifestyle changes that have happened since the last time I worked through this book. So once again, link is below, and then next week what I'm going to talk to you about is how to then take what you've learned from looking at what you're already wearing and how you feel about what you're already wearing, and then kind of plan out what you should be making instead to fill holes in your wardrobe and to make things that you're going to be wearing a lot. I'll see you next week with that.